Alright everyone, it's that time again. So you already know that we're back with another typing top 10. Last time we dealt with the fairy typing, and I think that it ended up coming out pretty well considering how many good fairy types there are. This week, however, we're dealing with one of the fairy type's natural enemies, the poison typing. This list was put together with tons of stuff taken into account, with a little extra focus put on the competitive aspect of things. I feel these poison types we have here today represent some of the best of the typing, and I really hope you guys see that. So let's dive right into the toxic spikes and see if we can figure out just what the best of this typing is. Also, throughout this video, I want you guys to think about what you guys would like to see as the next typing we do for a top 10. Before we fully get started though, remember that currently right now, over on our gaming channel MysticSage, we have the Best Team for Kanto Remastered Let's Play going on right now, so be sure to check that out in the description and in the iCard above. Also be sure to check out our anime channel MysticSage and my other social media platforms. Links for those will also be in the description and iCard. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the video. So, I had a ton of options here at the start of the list, and I'd just like to give a shout out to Alolan Muck and Toxapex. These two are great Pokemon, and Toxapex especially so in competitive with Regenerator. They're both good Pokemon, but I had to go with none other than Crobat as the number 10 on this list. The big thing that I felt puts it over the top is that it avoids the power of Earthquake altogether. There are of course new issues that pop up from getting the flying typing, like weaknesses to Ice and Rock, but I really do feel like the immunity to Ground is a great thing. Also, Crobat is no slouch defensively already, as it has base 80 defenses in both that can be taken advantage of with items like the Assault Vest. Its speed though? That is most certainly the best aspect of Crobat, as it is at 130 base speed, and that frees it up to take advantage of moves like Air Slash. Crobat has been a Pokemon that I have featured on plenty of best teams throughout the generations, and really it is with good reason. This bat gets access to several great stab moves, like Brave Bird, Acrobatics, and Cross Poison, as well as other very nice physical moves, like Zen Headbutt and U-Turn. It's got the hidden ability Infiltrator, which can be used to great advantages in battle if a Pokemon has set up screens, or if one is hiding behind a substitute. And the regular ability Inner Focus, which prevents it from being made to flinch. All in all, an argument can definitely be made to put Toxapex or Alolan Muck here at number 10, and I would totally understand if you guys aren't completely sold on Crobat. However, I believe it is done enough for so long that it most certainly is worth this spot on the list. So, speaking of a Pokemon that's been featured on plenty of best teams, coming in at number 9 on this ranking is Nidoking. You guys know I love to include this guy when we're doing best teams for Kanto, and he's pretty deserving of his spot in this top 10. Nidoking is an absolute juggernaut on the battlefield, and it can serve a great purpose as both a physical or special attacker with decent speed to boot. As a matter of fact, prior to Gen 6, I'd say Nidoking was a pretty good Pokemon, but from X and Y onward, it got a boost to its stats, which puts its attack over 100, and that's just fantastic. The options of Nidoking feel almost limitless, as you can equip it with moves like Earthquake and Poison Jab to turn it into a Fairy Killer, or you can do something I think is actually pretty superior to that. The great thing about Nidoking is that it has a fantastic hidden ability, being Sheer Force. You guys already know how good Sheer Force is, so I won't bore you with the details of it, but when you combine it with a Life Orb, you've got a real force to be reckoned with in battle. The best one can do with a Nidoking is to max out its special attack and then run moves like Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and Ice Beam while holding a Life Orb and having Sheer Force. Those moves turn into absolute buzzsaws that can tear through a team and provide excellent coverage, since you don't lose any HP from the Life Orb of Sheer Force. This guy makes it here on this list at number 9, riding a wave of its incredible attack and ability, and it definitely is deserving of the poison it earned on this top 10. So we move on now from Kanto to Unova at number 8, as we say hello to the Megapede Pokemon, Scolipede. Now you guys already know just how fantastic this thing is, and I think all I really need to say is Speed Boost. See, Speed Boost is such a good ability that it went and got Blaziken banned, and any Pokemon that ends up with it immediately raises some eyebrows. It helps when you've got some good attack too, and Scolipede has got just that with base 100 attack complementing the base 112 speed. Now, I get how to some of you, it may be seen as a bit of a confusing surprise to see Scolipede appearing at all here with how many good poison types there are, and for those of you who do feel that way, I have to ask, why? See, Scolipede is a great story, the best poison bug type we've ever seen, and I mean no disrespect to Beedrill. Though the simple fact is that in the realm of bug types especially, Scolipede is on another level. It has those great stats I brought up earlier, and then a whole plethora of nice stab moves like Mega Horn and Poison Jab that turn it into an absolute tremendous threat on the battlefield. That is only the tip of the iceberg though, as moves like Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Throat Chop will follow behind the great stab it has, as well as Swords Dance, which will drive the attack setup even higher to match the constantly building speed. The bug typing makes ground moves neutral, and while there is still a real weakness to the psychic typing, with a few more additional weaknesses coming in from the bug typing, you've still got an absolutely dominant Pokemon in Scolipede here that probably could have been even higher on the list if not for some of the other great Pokemon coming up. Wow. You know, this next Pokemon made it to the top 3 ghost types back in the ranking, but here, it's at only number 7. That's right, we've got the great Gengar checking in right now. It's incredible to think that for a long time, Gengar was definitely the best poison type that existed, and until recently, it was still ahead of some legendaries. But when it lost Levitate as an ability, some of its greatness was taken away. As a poison type, Levitate was its best friend, and it served as a fantastic counter to ground types. And if you noticed thus far, all of the Pokemon has neutralized the ground weakness prior to Gengar. Though even without Levitate, you still have a Pokemon that has one of the most aggravating Megas of all time. That Mega Gengar was so good that with Shadow Tag, it will lock you in and Parasong you away like it was nothing. Its stats were nuts too, with 170 base special attack and 130 speed. And while that's crazy, regular Gengar isn't that far off either, with 130 special attack and 110 speed. At the end of the day, it's a great Pokemon with moves like Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb that take massive advantage of its stab. It's so ridiculously strong and fast on its own. And with the introduction of its Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield, it gained even more power that puts it in a good position to still be a great poison type Pokemon regardless of not having Levitate, and instead rely on Shadow Tag and Cursed Body. Next up, here at number 6, we have one of 2 Ultra Beasts that have been the poison typing, this one being Naganadel. This Ultra Beast brings a fantastic typing in Dragon to the table and combines it with Poison to make one very fast, very strong Pokemon. That Dragon typing is protected from Fairies by the Poison typing, which is a good thing, and it has the ability Ultra Boost, which more than likely will see UB Stinger getting a nice boost to its already monstrous speed or special attack with every Pokemon it knocks out. Its great move pool includes fantastic coverage beyond its typing, like Air Slash, Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower, but still has a ton of options for its stab, like Dracometer and Dragon Pulse for one typing, and Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave on the poison side. All in all, there actually isn't a lot to say beyond what I have said already. This beast is just super strong and super fast, with some good coverage moves and a very nice ability. Well, why don't we keep talking about Ultra Beasts, and open up the top 5 with OG UB Nihilego. Now when it comes to Nihilego, you're dealing with an entirely different beast than Naganadel, pun entirely intended. This thing has got a lot going for it, with 109 base HP, 127 base attack, 131 base special defense, and 103 base speed. There's so much going on with this thing, and it most certainly is fitting of being in the top 5 of the poison typing. Speaking of its typing, it's also a rock type, which is a pretty interesting and unique typing that no other Pokemon has. Now that being said, its ability is the same as all the other Ultra Beasts, which of course is Beast Boost, which of course is a great ability. Though the thing that isn't great about it is that you would think by looking at Nihilego, it would have Levitate, but unfortunately, that isn't the case, and thus it's going to get absolutely rocked by an Earthquake. However, there is of course the Air Balloon that you can slap on this Pokemon to prevent it from needing to take an Earthquake, and instead try and focus on preparing it for battle with special Pokemon. I'd say the best thing to do with a Pokemon like Nihilego is to throw Black Sludge on it and create a massive special defensive wall that can hit really hard. You've got some good moves that can be learned by level up like Power Gem and Acid Spray, the latter of which would play well with the fantastic strength Nihilego has. There's great TMs that it'll be able to use, like Sludge Bomb and Wave, Thunderbolt, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, and more, which give it really nice coverage that goes beyond its stab moves. Now, I bring all that up, but it can also be used for support of setup moves. Really the biggest problem Nihilego has, like I mentioned earlier, is that weakness it needs to worry about with ground types. Earthquake is the most spammed move in most competitive battles, and obviously is very strong. But when you can get past stuff like that, Nihilego serves as a real MVP on a team. Hey, we've come pretty far without doing much with Galar, so how about we touch on it now with the Galarian form? I'm of course talking about the Sir himself, Galarian Weezing. Now some of you probably get why it would appear so high on this list, but for those who don't, please allow me to explain. See, Weezing has got two major things going for it. The first one being its tremendous typing of Poison and Fairy, which leaves it with just a weakness to Ground, Steel, and Psychic, and immunity to Dragon types, and its insane ability neutralizing Gas that was first introduced in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I kind of feel that with this new ability and the added Fairy typing, the edge of Galarian Weezing over regular Weezing is just good enough to see it featured here over its Cantonian brother. Neutralizing Gas is an insane ability that shines in Double battles, as it erases the abilities of all Pokemon on the field. So, just for the sake of conversation, pretend like Weezing is out in the field with a Pokemon like Slaking or Regigigas. Yeah, as you can see, an ability like Slow Start or Truant will be completely removed from the discussion, and suddenly the scary base 160 attack of Slaking will be thrust into battle with nothing holding it back. That on its own is just such a massive push-up for Weezing. But then when you think about the great Fairy type moves it can now use in its Galarian form, like Dazzling Gleam and signature move Strange Steam, this thing just becomes even better. It's got a great 120 base defense as well, so it's going to be taking hits like there's no tomorrow on the physical end of things. Galarian Weezing is a true stud of the poison typing, and it will be for generations to come once more Pokemon become available in game. It's time that we got into the top 3, and coming in here to start us off is a beloved Pokemon of the competitive scene since its debut in Unova nearly a decade ago, the mushroom Pokemon, Amoonguss. This thing has been a staple of so many competitive teams, and its longevity is proven through its great ability Regenerator and that nice bulk. It has base 114 HP, and while its defenses are just base 70 for physical and 80 for special, it still rides that great HP for bulk. As for the moves it is definitely built to be a fantastic supporter Pokemon. It has Ingrain, Clear Smog, Spore, and a few other moves that just prove its high quality in battle. Really, as odd as it is to say, those moves plus Regenerator are kinda why Amoonguss can find itself here in the top 3 poison types. There just isn't anything more to say. The results speak for themselves. Amoonguss is a legend, and one of the best of its typing. Though, just for the sake of it, it does get access to some cool moves like Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, and Pollen Puff. Though, really nothing more needs to be said. So, we reached the penultimate spot on this list, and this one is an absolute legend in everything but title. I'm talking about the original poison type, the Pokedex's very first second stage Pokemon, Venusaur. That's right, this absolute unit marches its way here, and it is incredibly well deserved. See, Venusaur has a lot going for it. It's got a Mega Evolution, as well as a brand new Gigantamax form. And on top of that, it has some premier special stats that really set it a step above its grass starter counterparts. Venusaur's special attack and defense are both base 100, and it's got 80 base speed as well, meaning it isn't super duper slow, albeit it could always be better. That being said though, those stats go up to 123 base defense from 83, 100 base attack from 82, 122 special attack, and 120 special defense. It even gained Thick Fat as an ability, which eliminated 2 of its major weaknesses as things it really needed to worry about. Not to mention its great move pool also includes moves like Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Petal Dance, and more. You've got such a great option in Mega Venusaur, but of course in Galar, you can't Mega Evolve, so you need to rely on Venusaur on its own merits. However, there is also the Gigantamax form. When you Gigantamax a Venusaur, it'll have access to the move G-Max Vine Lash, which does big damage to any non-grass type, and it hits for 4 turns after the first usage on those non-grass types as well. Basically, Venusaur has been so good from the very beginning, and it is the premier non-legendary poison type in the franchise. However, I say non-legendary because, of course, at number 1, we have the gigantic Pokemon, Eternatus. Now, just to get this out of the way, I am still not counting its Eternamax form at all, just like when it appeared on the Dragon types. It isn't even available to be used, and quite frankly, it's a ridiculously broken Pokemon in a much different way than the other boss Pokemon that have come before it. Anyway, Eternatus is one of the most bulky and speedy special attackers that have ever existed, with 145 in special attack, 140 in HP, and 130 in speed. It's a much better poison dragon type than Dragalge, and even more so than Naganadel obviously, offering it some great coverage moves against fairy types. abilities. It also has the move Dynamax Cannon, and that serves as a tremendously useful counter to all Dynamax Pokemon, as its 100 base power doubles to 200 when used against them. There isn't really a lot that I can say about Eternatus right now due to how new it is, but I maintain the fact that it's just an incredibly strong Pokemon that shoved its way to the top of this typing, regardless of if you like it or not. You just can't deny this type of ability and pretend it doesn't exist. Though, I will admit, I feel a little for Venusaur here. It was just outclassed by such a broken Pokemon. Well, there you have it, folks. Another top 10 typings in the books. The poison typing is an original one, and it was filled with nice options. And in the end, Galar reigns supreme, with having given us the best poison type we've ever seen. That being said, I want to hear from you guys what you think, so let me know down below. Also, even more importantly, I want to know the next typing you guys want to see me cover in this top 10 series. Leave a comment, or if you see one with a typing you want already, make sure to like it so I see it. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream all sorts of games from Pokemon to Fire Emblem to Zelda and much more. I also have an anime channel called MysticSage where I do anime reviews, rankings, and countdowns. So if you're interested in that kind of content, go ahead and check that out as well. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.